If you've been improvising a while, then start putting melodic minors over your dominants. But be aware that the melodic minors you learned in piano lessons are not the ones we're talking about. So let's take the C melodic. For me, the melodic minor is major scale, flat 3, in both directions. Not down a different way, the way they will show you in piano lessons, right? I'm using up and down exactly the same way, because I want to be able to say, I want to be able to play phrases downwards like that as well. Normally people learn this. We're not doing that, okay? So just major scale flat 3. And the way they connect really well to dominance is if you find the melodic minor that's a half step above your dominant, two things will happen. Number one, you'll get, guys who are Jazz Skills members, you'll already know that this is A flat minor 6, which comes from A flat melodic minor, doesn't it? 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 6 gives me A flat minor 6, and that goes beautifully over a G7 shell. Left hand shell is 1, 7, sometimes 1, 3, 7. Now I know some of you will be calling that a G7 with a sharp 5 and a flat 9. That's fine. I've got other ways that I prefer than that, to be honest, because they give me more freedom. Because G7 with a sharp 5 and a flat 9 in root position is A flat minor 6 over G, but how are you going to invert that? Are you going to take the G from the bottom and put it at the top, right? But the A flat minor 6 becomes very invertible over a G7, right? That's only one reason. It's also because, I'll just give you a taste, we get all these movements that come from A flat minor. We can't go into all of them today, of course. But that's why I like to make the association between A flat minor 6 and G7. So now we have that A flat melodic minor, which is the A flat major scale with a flat 3. You can run that from G, you know, all kinds of different places. Or let's say, see all the pretty stuff you can get from running the G melodic minor. It's just a matter of learning that simple scale. So let's see some of the melodic minor phrases I've put in the study guide. Pretty simple one. Straight up the scale, right? Doesn't get simpler than that. This is probably a straight down. What's that one? Yeah. You know, with a triplet that time, right? Let's see what's next. Yeah, that hasn't notated beautifully. I'll change that. Where is it? Straight down the scale, right? Yes. Ibu is saying, a lot of questions today. A flat melodic minor on the G sounds great. I believe left hand could play a flat 9 or flat 13. Let's see what you mean by, well, there's the flat 9. You believe the left hand could play a flat 9 or flat 13. You're talking about rootless, I believe, which is something a little different. Flat 9. Let's see. I don't even think about, well, that's, I guess you're thinking of that as a flat 13, right? It's A flat minor 6, Ibu. It's A flat minor 6. We do all that sort of stuff. Rootless is fine and it has its place, but I'm happy personally to play shells or full chords as well. So this is me taking a 1-6-2-5 using stuff we've talked about, but pretty basic left hand. That was an A flat minor 6, but probably what you're referring to. Yep. Okay, let's see. There are a lot of these examples that you can go away and learn. Yes, Ibu? Brilliant. So this phrase is a third in the scale. We're missing out this note and going straight there and straight down the scale. There is so much beauty to be had in just running up or down a scale and connecting it to the release that comes next, you know? Tendai says, I like shells, allows me to focus on improv. Yeah, me too, Tendai. I'm with you. I'm with you. So finding just ways to run up a scale, connect it to the next and come down, or run up a scale, connect it to the next and come down a chord phrase, or run down a scale and do the opposite. It's just such simple and beautiful stuff for me. Let's do one or two more of these before we move on. Oh, that's a pretty one. That is shells in the left hand. Yes, Tendai. This kind of connects to what we're going to talk about, what will keep coming up, I think, in the second half, which is now, is surround notes. Surround notes are things like this. Is taking this G as a target and surrounding it with this, in this case, scale notes. A flat and F are scale notes of that A flat melodic minor, right? And then down an equally spaced chord, which is such a pretty and simple thing to do. Surround and down a chord and you're out the other side. The real, I think, of course, for many people, it's just learning an A flat melodic minor, which is a real challenge. It depends on where you are in your playing. We've all been at that stage. Then the next challenge is connecting and coming out right, you know. And then the next challenge is firing these things off while you're playing. These are things you should be able to fire off in live playing because it's not stock phrases, you know. We're practicing, I'm showing you stock phrases, but you should practice and take, for example, you should pick a note out of that A flat melodic minor. Let's pick the F and just see if you can descend and get yourself out of trouble on a G7. Connects nicely to the third of C, no problem. You should do it on, okay, the A flat. Great, connects to the G. We're bound to get in trouble by the time we go B flat, right? There's the problem, right? We don't want that on the off, or on a push, or on an earlier one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, that allows me to get a phrase I want and allows me to show you what a surround note looks like. Semitone surround. Half step means the same thing as a half step for people in different parts of the world. Half step above, half step below the G, right? So this is not a scale note on A flat melodic minor, it's a half step surround. So what did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and surround, and got me out, you know? So I'm constantly playing that game. In practice, sometimes if I feel relaxed enough in a live situation, I'm also practicing ways of getting myself in and out of trouble, just to see what happens, you know?